Uh, Virgo, someone has been sitting in a very quiet, very private kind of pain. And that pain has a specific shape. It is not the loud kind, it is not the kind that announces itself or asks for sympathy. It is the kind that lives behind composed eyes and measured words, and a life that looks from the outside completely fine. But inside, something has been aching. And that ache has a name. It has your name. Stay with me, because what is moving through your energy right now is one of the most emotionally loaded things I have witnessed in a long time. There is a person who made a choice that they told themselves was rational, a choice they perhaps even defended to others, maybe even to themselves in the mirror at 2 in the morning when sleep would not come. They walked away, or they held back, or they let something between you dissolve when they had the power to hold it together. And they are living with that now. They are living with what that choice actually cost them. Because here is the thing about Virgo energy that people consistently underestimate: you are not the loudest presence in the room. You are not the one demanding to be chosen, demanding to be seen, demanding recognition for everything you pour into the people you love. You give quietly. You love with a precision and a depth that most people do not even have the emotional vocabulary to describe. You notice the small things. You remember. You show up in ways that are so consistent, so dependable, so genuinely caring that people begin to take it for granted. And then you are gone. And the silence you leave behind is deafening. That is where this person is right now, in your silence, and they are realizing, perhaps for the first time with full clarity, exactly what that silence contains. Exactly what was in all those moments they did not fully receive. Exactly what they were holding in their hands when they let go. Hmm. I want to sit here because I feel the weight of this for some of you, very specifically. This is not a casual realization this person is having. This is not a passing thought. This is the kind of reckoning that arrives when all the distractions fall away. When life gets quiet enough that the truth cannot be avoided anymore. And in that quiet, your face appears, your energy appears, the memory of how you made them feel appears, and they are not prepared for how much it moves them. They thought they had made peace with the choice. They had not. Does this resonate with something you have been sensing? Have you felt this pull recently, this inexplicable awareness of someone's energy, even when there has been no contact, no conversation, no outward reason to feel them so close? Let me know in the comments if this is landing, because what you are feeling is real. It is not wishful thinking. It is not you creating something out of nothing. You are picking up on something that is genuinely happening in the energetic field between you and this person. Let me go deeper. What I am feeling is the word regret, and not the light surface kind, not the fleeting kind that visits for a moment and then moves on. This is the kind of regret that settles into the chest and lives there. The kind that colors ordinary moments, that makes a song on the radio feel unbearable, that makes a certain quality of evening light remind them of something they cannot quite hold onto, but cannot quite release either. You were something to this person that they did not have the wisdom to fully recognize in the moment. That is not your failure, that is theirs. And the painful, beautiful, complicated truth is that Some people only understand the value of what they had after the experience of not having it anymore, after the contrast makes it undeniable. After every person they encounter somehow falls short in ways they cannot always articulate, but that always seem to circle back to you, to something you had that they have not found again. I want to speak directly to the Virgo heart right now because I think this is important. You have been doing something quietly heroic. You have been minding yourself, building yourself, tending to your own life with that meticulous, devoted Virgo energy that you usually pour into everyone else. And somewhere along the way, in the process of healing or moving forward or simply keeping yourself going, you have changed. Not in the way that means you abandoned who you were, but in the way that means you have grown more fully into yourself. You have released some things, some resentment, some confusion, some of that low level hope you were carrying that you were not even fully admitting to yourself. You have been doing the work of becoming someone who does not require a particular outcome in order to be okay. And that work, that quiet internal transformation, has made you more magnetic than you have ever been. Not because you were trying to attract anyone, but because there is nothing more powerful than a person who has genuinely chosen their own peace. And this person, they can feel it even from a distance, even through whatever space or silence exists between you. The version of you that is emerging now is reaching them in ways that defy the logic of physical proximity. Energy does not require presence, and yours is undeniable. Have you noticed yourself feeling more settled lately, even while also carrying something tender around this connection? That combination, that simultaneous groundedness and emotional openness, that is what is happening in your field right now, and it is creating something. It is stirring something in the energy of everyone who was ever truly impacted by who you are. Let me tell you what is coming through about the nature of the words this person wants to say. There is an apology living inside of them, not a small one, not the kind that deflects or explains or makes itself the center of the story, a real one, the kind that has been building over time as the full weight of their choices has landed. They want to say they did not give this a fair chance. They want to say they were operating from fear, or from a closed off place, or from a version of themselves that was not yet capable of receiving what you were offering. They want to acknowledge that the fault was not in what you gave, but in their capacity to hold it. They want to come back, and that wanting is not impulsive. It has been tested by time. It has survived moments when they tried to talk themselves out of it. It has persisted through circumstances and distractions and the general business of a life trying to move forward, and it is still there, clearer now than it has ever been. I want to pause here and ask you something genuinely important. How do you feel about that? Not how you think you should feel, not the answer that sounds spiritually evolved or emotionally detached, but the real, honest, unguarded feeling in your body when you consider the possibility of this person returning, of this conversation finally happening, of this chapter reopening. Whatever that feeling is, honor it. Because this reading is not here to tell you what to want. It is here to mirror back what is already happening so that you can meet it with full awareness rather than being blindsided by it. And what is already happening is significant. What is already moving in this energy is layered and real and deserves to be met by the fullest, most self aware version of you. Drop something in the comments if you are feeling the weight of this, even just a word, even just a sign, because I know some of you have been carrying this particular story for a long time, and sometimes just acknowledging it in a space that feels safe is its own kind of release. Now, I want to talk about something that I feel is specifically important for Virgo to hear in this moment. You have a tendency, a deeply ingrained one, to analyze yourself when something goes wrong in a relationship or a connection, to go back through your choices with a fine tooth comb, to identify what you could have done differently, what you perhaps communicated imperfectly, where your own patterns may have contributed to an outcome that hurt you. And while that kind of self reflection is genuinely one of your gifts, it has a shadow side. Sometimes you take on responsibility that was never yours to carry. Sometimes you diagnose yourself as the problem when the actual issue was someone else's unreadiness, someone else's fear, someone else's inability to show up at the level you were asking them to. And because you are so thorough, so committed to personal accountability, you absorb that blame without fully questioning whether it belongs to you. Let me say this clearly. What did not work before was not because you loved too much or too carefully or too intentionally. It was not because you were too attentive or too present or too real. Those are not flaws. Those are the very things that this person is now grieving the absence of, the things they are realizing in the privacy of their own heart that they were not prepared for and now cannot stop thinking about. You were not too much. They were not yet enough. And that distinction matters enormously for how you carry yourself as this energy returns. Because when this person comes back, and what I feel in this reading is that they will find a way to make that known, you will have a choice to make. And that choice will be made from a much more grounded, self aware place than the last time. You have done work they have not yet done. You have traveled an internal distance that they are only just beginning. And that asymmetry will be visible to you immediately when you are face to face again. Your discernment will be sharper. Your tolerance for anything less than what you deserve will be lower, not in a cold or guarded way, but in the quiet, dignified way of someone who has lived the cost of accepting less and will not revisit that experience. That is a profound place to stand. And I want you to stand in it fully, without apology, without softening it to make the other person more comfortable. You owe it to yourself to be exactly as evolved as you are. There is another layer to this energy that I want to touch on because I feel it strongly and I do not want to move past it without naming it. For some of you, this connection has spiritual undertones that go beyond the typical. There is something about who you are to each other that does not fully fit inside ordinary relationship language. A recognition that happened early, maybe immediately, that you could not explain rationally. A sense that your paths were supposed to intersect for reasons that were larger than either of you could fully articulate. That recognition was not imagined. That feeling was not projection. There is something real between your energies, something that has persisted even through distance, even through silence, even through the choices that created separation. And part of what this person is experiencing right now is the reactivation of that recognition, as if something in them is waking up that had been trying very hard to sleep. You may have experienced your own version of this waking in turn, your own moments of unexpected clarity about this connection, your own late nights where you allowed yourself to feel it fully instead of pushing it away, your own quiet admissions to yourself about what this person meant or still means to some part of you that did not get the closure it needed. Both of you have been doing a version of the same internal work from different angles at different paces, but moving toward the same threshold. And that threshold is much closer than it appears. Have you been dreaming about this person? Or finding them in your thoughts at unexpected moments when nothing in your external environment prompted it? Let me know in the comments, because I think what many of you are experiencing is not coincidence. It is the energetic preparation for a conversation that is coming. A meeting, whether physical or simply in the form of honest words, that will say the things that needed to be said a long time ago. I want to bring this energy into a place of real grounded truth now, because I feel it is important to offer you more than just the emotional landscape of this situation. Here is what I want you to walk away knowing, Virgo. You do not need this person's return to be whole. You were whole before them. You have remained whole without them, and you will be whole regardless of how this unfolds. That is not a spiritual platitude. That is a fact that I feel clearly in your energy. Your wholeness is not conditional, it is structural, it is built into who you are. What this returning energy represents is not a completion of you, it is an invitation to revisit something with new eyes, new tools, new levels of self knowledge on both sides. Whether you choose to accept that invitation and how you choose to navigate it, if you do, is entirely up to you. And whatever you choose will be the right choice, because you are choosing from a place of genuine awareness rather than from hunger or fear or the desperate hope of someone who has not yet learned their own value. You know your value. You have learned it the hard way through the very experiences that brought you to where you are now. And that knowing will protect you, not by building walls, but by giving you the clarity to recognize what is real and what is not. To feel the difference between someone who has genuinely grown and someone who simply misses the comfort of what you provided. To know in your body and in your spirit whether what is being offered is worthy of what you are being asked to open again. Trust that knowing. It will not mislead you. As this reading comes to a close, I want to leave you with something gentle, something to carry into the rest of your day. Whatever is unfolding around this connection, whatever conversations are happening that you cannot yet hear, whatever energy is moving toward you across the invisible distance between hearts, let it come at its own pace. You do not need to rush toward it. You do not need to prepare a response or rehearse a feeling or decide in advance how you will handle it. Just be where you are. Be the full, grounded, quietly powerful person you have become, and let what is meant for you find you exactly there. You have waited long enough, Virgo, not for someone else's love, but for the confirmation that you were always worth loving well. That confirmation is moving through this energy. And I hope today, in some small way, this reading served as a reminder of what has always been true. You are remarkable, and the right people are beginning to remember that. Take care of yourself. Be soft with your own heart. and know that this community holds you, even in the quiet moments when you feel like no one is watching. Until next time, stay rooted in your own knowing. It has never led you wrong.